Hello everybody, my name is Jonathan and welcome to Barely Unboxed. Today we have a very special video that I talked about in a previous video, and that is this girl. She is a Rainbow High Color and Create, and they have 3 of these, and each one is slightly different, but they all come with the same markers and outfits. She is going to be dyed using some of these RIT clothing dyes. And I learned this trick from Darlene's Dollhouse, and I'll put a link to her YouTube down in the description. You shared her channel in my last video too, because I mentioned her. So these dolls, we'll put these to the side, are meant to be drawn on with these markers, and as long as you wash it out within a reasonable amount of time, the color can wash out of the hair and the clothing, and you can even use the markers on the shoes, and that can come off too. But if you leave it on too long, it does tend to stain, from what I've seen in some other videos. So as fun as that sounds, we will try that out just to see. I'll show you how it works, but ultimately I'm going to permanently dye her hair using the RIT dye. So first of all, I'll show you the packaging. It has a standard Rainbow High packaging that you see a lot these days, and it shows different ways to decorate her on each side. And there is the barcode. Alright, so to open this, it's as simple as just cutting some tape. And from what I have seen, these dolls are not very hard to open because they don't have a lot of accessories. Some of the other Rainbow High dolls can be a little difficult to open. So here on the back there is a package that you're going to take off, and in here I'll show you, it has important information, some instructions, but it also has these kind of plasticky pieces, and they're intended to go inside the clothing while you use the markers, so it doesn't bleed through from one side to the other. And it does have a quick start guide in multiple languages, so it looks like this is the English side, so there's not too many instructions to follow, whether, depending on what language you want to read it in. So it does say, I believe here, do not use bleach, ammonia, abrasives, or other harsh chemicals. The markers should be used on the doll and accessories only. Do not apply to humans. Let's see, and it also, I think, mentions, do not use markers other than those included with this product. Other markers may not be removable. So if you did want to do a permanent look, you could use like a permanent marker on these. Although I'm not sure if it will, stay on the clothes. It might rub off or whatever. Ultimately, I'm probably going to paint these shoes with acrylic paints and seal them, but all the clothing and her hair I am going to dye using the RIT hair, or I always say hair dye, it's not hair dye, it's RIT clothing dye. It dyes cotton, linen, rayon, silk, wool, and nylon. They have, I believe, nylon hair, so it works really well. To get deeper colors, you do need to use boiling water, which can get a little messy and dangerous. I just use the sink method with hot water, the hottest water I can get, and it has worked so far. Later on in the video, I will show you some of my other dolls that have died after I dyed her. So here's her comb, and it's just the standard rainbow high comb, but in this pearly white color. Alright, and then let me just go ahead and cut all this tape really quickly. I have been looking forward to these ever since I saw them because I got really into dyeing rainbow high dolls and creating my own kind of characters and giving them names and everything, and it's just a lot of fun, I think, to experiment and come up with different characters and backstories. Alright, so the easiest way to get these dolls out is to just cut around all this plastic tabs. There's tape on them. Alright. I hope to get the other two in this series as well, and I would love to hear from you all if you have any of these and how you've decorated them, whether or not you decorated them and left them that way, or maybe you have also started dyeing dolls as well, and I would love to hear from you about that. It's a lot easier than you might think. So all of these should just pop right out. Alright, and then there will be a lot of little tabs to cut, and for that I find scissors are the best. I'm hoping with her that I can get a really interesting color using these three dyes. I have aquamarine. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. So I have aquamarine, Kelly green, and golden yellow. And I'm going to try to do kind of a like an ombre effect maybe, or I might even do more of a layered effect so that the colors kind of blend into each other. I think the effect is going to be really cool, and I'll have to wait for her hair to dry once I dye her before I show her all finished, which will all be in the same video, so don't worry. I'm gonna take some extra time making this video for you all. So they have these plastic overlay kind of things that show you, how you can use the markers. Alright. Her hair does have like gel product in it. So even before you would use markers on this, you would probably want to wash her hair. And unfortunately you can't use the markers on the wet hair, I don't think. But it might work, I don't know. Alright, so again, let's look at the doll real quick. She has pigtails. She comes with a white t-shirt that velcros in the back. like standard Rainbow High clothes. She comes with these white jeans, which also Velcro in the back. And she has these white high heels. And she right now just has elastics in her hair. But she does come with these two scrunchies, which can also be marked on. Let's go ahead and pop all this out. How does this open? Looks like there's tape around the edges. And there's that. And her scrunchies. And her chunky tennis shoes. Get rid of some of this trash. Now, you may notice at this point that she does not come with a stand, which is kind of disappointing because pretty much every Rainbow High doll, except for the junior high dolls, comes with a stand. But I actually, proactively, I ordered a stand for her off of eBay. There are tons of eBay sellers out there that sell Rainbow High accessories and stands, and it's definitely nice, especially if you find a second-hand Rainbow High doll, which I have, and they didn't have any clothing, and I was able to find some items on eBay for them. So eBay to the rescue. Alright, so here are the markers, which they're very chunky. I kind of like. I mean, that's really nice for a kid, definitely, with how big they are. Oh, no, I marked on my hand, you're not supposed to apply to humans. That's okay. We will wash our hand later on. Okay. Let's get rid of all this trash. Alright, so there's the markers. And I am actually going to try the markers on this shirt that she's not wearing. So we go find the... Oh, where did that go? I seem to have misplaced the t-shirt thing. Oh, it's down here with the trash. So, we have this. It does have these little folds in it, which I'm guessing that's so you can get it down in the shirt easier. Yep, that works. Okay, and then once you get that in the shirt, there we go. It also helps make it a lot flatter. So since we're going to be doing a blue, yellow, green theme on her, I just kind of want to play around with these. Let's see how they work. So they have the Rainbow High in gold on them. And I don't think they have like specific colors. It also says Rainbow High on the lid. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to take this and just make some sun ray lines on this. Now that is really light. I don't even know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. I can barely see it in real life. So alright, now let's try the green. And I don't know if the lids... No, the lids do not attach to the marker. It's kind of bad design, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. Alright, now that the green is on here, it looks nice with the yellow. Now when I dye these with RIT dye, I definitely won't be able to do a design like that. It'll be pretty much all one color or multiple like ombre kind of colors. But these markers are okay. They're hard to draw, as you can see where the seams are, because the color kind of gets more intense because of the way that the seam is there. Yeah. Oh, and this is rubbing off onto my desk too. So I'll have to clean that off later. But there's my shirt. And here in a few minutes, I'm gonna go try to wash that off. But I want to try the markers on these shoes, which I don't know, I feel like this isn't gonna work very well. Okay, it does actually work. I colored the shoelaces blue. Now does that rub off? Oh yes, that rubs right off onto your finger. So they're rubbery. I kind of expected that to happen, and then I've heard if you leave it long enough, it will sort of dry, but it stays tacky. So, I mean, it's not ideal. So let's actually, red being a very intense color, let's see what that looks like. This is actually more pink than red. So, there's what the red marker looks like on the shoe. Let's try the red marker on the t-shirt. Yeah, it looks more pink than it does red. And we'll try out the other colors just to get more of a sense of what they look like on the clothing. There's the purple on the clothing. And the last one is orange. Which is definitely orange. So those are fun. I think a kid would definitely have a lot of fun with these. And I mean, even an adult, I can see the fun in this, you know, designing your own doll. But we're going to do that a little more permanently. Now, I did notice my doll, which I haven't really shown you the doll as much, so let's go ahead and do that. There's her face. She has a little beauty mark, which I believe is a factory imperfection. And you know what? Yeah, it's not coming off, and I actually really like that. It gives her some more personality. So the standard with Rainbow High dolls is their heads can tilt, they can turn. Her elbows go up and down and they spin around. Her wrist also goes up and down and spins around. And her shoulder can go up and down and spin around. There's no waist articulation or chest articulation. The legs, which is kind of hard to do in these jeans, but they can move out, up, and around. The knee is double jointed, which her joints are a little stiff. There we go. And then there's no foot or ankle articulation on the girl dolls, but I believe the boy dolls have articulation on their foot, if I remember right. I could be wrong. So there she is. She's adorable with her green eyes. And I wanted to do a theme with green for her. So we are going to try, instead of the markers, we're going to try the yellow and the green and the blue, which I think is going to be really cool. Alright, so I'm going to cut over to the sink and take her on a little spa journey, and we will show you how to dye hair. So hopefully we get some good results. It's white hair, and I'm super excited about that. I've only dyed Rainbow High dolls that already have a color in their hair, and then you kind of have to work with what color they have. So wish me luck. So now we're at the sink. I am letting the water run to get as hot as it can be, and I'm taking all of her accessories and clothes off, and then I will start the process of washing her hair to get that gel out of it. But first we're gonna wash this shirt that I used the markers on, and it actually comes out pretty easily. I did have to use a little soap for the red marker because that was a little hard to get out, and it washed right off my hands as well. So that was nice to see that it does wash out. Granted, I think I only had it on there for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So, you know, any longer than that, I can't really tell you if it'll wash out or not. So now I'm washing her hair, and unfortunately my video went a little blurry there, but anyway, I'm putting just some dish soap in her hair. You can use any soap. You can use shampoo, dish soap, hand soap, just as long as you can get that gel out. And it did take a little bit of effort to get it out, but it did wash out. And I'm filling the other side of the sink with cold water. The next step is the conditioning of the hair. I always do that to make it easier to brush the knots out, because I want to get the hair knot free before I go ahead and dye it. And I'm using a wide tooth comb at first to go through each ponytail, and then I switch to the fine tooth comb once it's easy to get the large tooth one through there. And I do the same thing to the other ponytail. And if the doll doesn't have ponytails, you would just do it in sections on the hair. And then I rinse it in the cold water, and then I rinse it in the hot. And the hot water gives it a little more of a silky feel. It's like a hot water rinse. And now I'm getting ready to add the dye. So I'm refilling the sink with hot water again, as hot as it can be. You can see all that steam. So, excuse me. And I stir it up with a stainless steel spoon. That way it doesn't stain the spoon. And as long as you do this in a stainless steel sink, you won't stain the sink either. And if you do get some color residue, you can just wash it out with a cleaner. So I'm sectioning out the ponytails and dyeing them green and leaving some white for the time being. And I do this I think 3 times on each ponytail. If the section you already dyed goes back in the dye, it's not a big deal, which happened to me there. It won't really dye it much more than it already has. The hair kind of takes the dye pretty quickly. So once I get the one ponytail done, I go over to the other side And my intention for this is that it will give a little bit of variation to the overall color of the hair by having some different colors in there. You'll see the results later, and it didn't quite work as well as I hoped, so I might have to go back and redo it someday. But I will say the final result does look pretty cool. So now that I got the green in there on both ponytails, I'm going to use the aquamarine. And I have used a blue dye. I can't remember if it was the aquamarine or a teal of some sort, but it didn't dye the hair as well. And I noticed this time it really worked really well. Like, that is some pretty blue hair. And I sectioned out 2 sections on each ponytail with the blue. And every time you do a section, you'll want to squeeze out the excess dye and then rinse it in the cold water. So I forgot to mention that earlier, but that's what I've been doing, which you probably figured out. So those didn't take quite as long as the green, since I only did 2. And you can see I still left some white in the ponytails. And now I'm trying to dye a shirt from the one that she was wearing. And I tried to do the pants as well. The pants didn't take it quite as well as the shirt, especially once I rinsed it. I mean, it's still blue, but those definitely need rinsed more. And I'm intending to dye the clothes green in the end. So now I'm mixing the golden yellow and the Kelly green together to get a kind of light green color. And then I dipped the whole head in there, and I moved the ponytail elastics because they were preventing the dye from dyeing those sections. But as you can see, that dyed really, really well. It turned the color I really wanted the hair to be. Although I will say, once it dries, it won't be quite as vivid. So if you want the hair to be a lot more of a vivid color, you can leave the doll in the dye for, maybe up to an hour or even longer if you want to. It's not going to hurt anything. Just make sure that you prop it up so that the whole body isn't in the dye. And you can usually do that by just leaning them up against the sink. Alright, so here is her hair dyed using the 3 RIT dyes. It still needs to dry, but I thought I'd show it to you while it's wet. I did sort of 3 colors. So if you look at her pigtails, you can see there's some darker streaks through there. So once that dries, that'll look really cool. Now her hair appears all a light green color that I really wanted to go for, and I got the exact color I wanted, which pretty much matches her eyes. I left her hair in pigtails in case you're wondering, because I didn't want to lose this part. Sometimes that's hard to get perfectly back into shape. So once that dries, I can tighten these up one by one. And so I have her clothes dyeing in the same color of dye for her hair with a tad more yellow added to it. And I will see what that looks like after it's sat in there for a while, because the sink method takes a little longer than a boiling stovetop method for clothing. Hair on these dolls dyes really easily with the sink method. If you want darker colors, you can do the boiling water on the stovetop method. But with her hair being so white, and it took the dye really well. So I am very happy with the results so far, and once it dries it won't be quite as dark. And I'm just making sure that it's dripping and it's clear. So I made sure I rinsed the hair really well in cold water. So after she dries, I'll put together her look. I'll probably paint a pair of those shoes, or see what shoes I have for Rainbow High. Maybe I have some green shoes that would look really good with her already. So we'll show her final look in just a few minutes. Alright, so it's been 24 hours pretty much, and all the clothing has dried and the hair has dried, and I will show you the results. But before I show you the doll, I'm going to show you all the clothing. These are the pants, and everything turned this pretty much the same pastel green color, and I think it's because I only did the sink method. If you did the boil method, they might take the color a little more, and I might try that in the future if I get one of the other two dolls from this series, which are both really cute, especially the one, and I will insert photos right here so you can take a good look at them. They're all just adorable. I hope they come out with more, and it'd be really cool if they made a boy in the next set, if they come out with the Color and Create Series 2. So you hear that, MJ? So anyway, here is the other shirt that she had on in the box, and I dyed that and the pants both in blue dye, aquamarine blue, which you could see me do in the previous clip, and then I put them in that green dye at the very end of the clip, which I did not show, but I did put them in there, and I left them in there for about an hour. This turned a little more green, but it still has a little blue tint to it. The pants still are just green, and then I threw these in there as well, the two scrunchies and this other t-shirt. So they all kind of turn the same color. I would definitely recommend the boil stovetop method. It might work better. I'll have to do a test of that in the future, but I was going to use these on her hair, but I could not get them around her huge ponytails. They were just too thick. So I ended up, in her final look, I'm not using any of these. I'm using clothing that I already had from previous dolls. And I'm sure you really want to see what she looks like. So let me grab her. And here she is. So her final look, I have these very cool strappy boots, which are from a fashion pack, I think, one of the little shoe fashion packs, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the pants, I believe, are from I can't remember the doll's name. But one of the dolls one of the Rainbow High dolls came with these pants. The skirt and the hoodie came with Jade Hunter that I did in a previous video. And I thought they actually worked really well for her with the green. And no earrings. I didn't have any other earrings, but I did give her these black ribbons in her hair. This is just black ribbon that I had. And I thought it looked really great. It's like green, black, green, black, green, black. And I thought that looked really cool. Now her hair, it's probably really hard to tell, but there is a little bit of variation in it from the blue and the dark green streaks that I did. But overall, it's just that light green color. And I did find if you twist her hair, you can definitely see a little variation in the color. So I might end up curling her hair later, which would be really cute. But I am very happy with the way she turned out. I did paint her nails with a metallic green. It's like a color shift paint. And then I put a lacquer, like a gloss, over top of those to protect it. And even her eyes, I did a little bit of green paint for eyeshadow around the edges of her eyes, just to give her that little bit of oomph that I felt like she needed to bring the whole look together. And I don't have a name for her yet. So if you have any suggestions, I like to give my customs their own Rainbow High doll name, first and last name, and even like her focus at Rainbow High, because I find that really fun to come up with my own characters. So I'm going to sit her over here so you can hopefully still see her. And I'm going to show you some of the other dolls that I've dyed previously. So my very first one, I used Gabriella Isley. I found a really good deal on her at my Walgreens a while back. They had, it was like buy one, get one half off for a Rainbow High doll. So I picked up a couple of her with the intention of dyeing her hair purple. And this doll I have named Amy Thistle. Her theme is like amethyst, and that's kind of the theme of all my dolls, is they all have a gemstone or precious stone themed name. And I gave her clothing from other dolls from Rainbow High, with these boots that I believe are from the Ainsley Slater set that came with like the 3 outfits. And then she has some barrettes and earrings that are from the Aisha doll, I believe. And then I ordered the purple stand from AliExpress. I ordered a bunch of different colored stands. I found a bunch of secondhand Rainbow High dolls at my local thrift store and was so excited, but they didn't have any stands or clothing, so I had to order some stands for them. And I actually did paint her face and swapped her eyes, if you can see. They have different colored eyes and different makeup, different nail polish. I had a lot of fun working on this one. Now, Amy Thistle's focus is fashion. She's a fashion focus at Rainbow High. And she's British. She's from the UK, so she has a lovely accent. Alright, so we'll put her over here with her friend. And we'll put Gabriella behind them. And we do have a couple others to show. This is the next doll that I did a custom of. I found her, the one that I customized over here, which I'll show you in just a second. She was a thrift doll find, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a custom of her because I found this one on sale at a toy store, and I picked her up for like, I think it was like $20. It was a really good deal. And so I was like, you know what, let's make a custom, which this is the custom. And for her hair to get this lovely brown, I actually used the Kelly green, and it neutralized that orange and turned this lovely brown. I mean, I just think it looks really great. It's so shiny. And I also painted her nails and took the henna off of her hands. You can see that. And I painted her face to be a little more unique. And her name, well, this is Mina Fleur. She is a jewelry focus. And so this is Scabina, Leslie Scabina. Yes, and her theme is lapis lazuli. And she is a cosmetic chemistry focus at Rainbow High. And she's actually from Egypt. So she's an exchange student, just like Miss Amy Thistle over here. Alright, and we'll put her over here. There's too many dolls. I don't know if you can see them all. Probably they're off camera now, but here is the final one I'm going to show you, and I do have more. You can probably see them back behind me, but I'll show those off in a different video. And if you want to see actual photos of all these dolls, they are on my Instagram. You just scroll through my Instagram. They're not too far back, but I did share these when I first made them. So this is Aiden Russell, and a lot of Rainbow High fans were disappointed with the execution of him in the cartoon, which I don't watch the cartoon, and I really probably should at this point since I collect them so much. He had purple hair in the show, and he does have blue eyes. I'm going to take those glasses off. But his hair, his hair is gelled, just stiff, and it looks really nice color, but it's not purple really. It has purple in it, and then he has all these tinsel. So I decided to just kind of play that up for my custom, and I dyed his hair a dark kind of purple color, and I actually put a little bit of gel in it and just kind of let it do its own thing. And I think it looks pretty cute. He looks like a mad scientist or something. And he's wearing a lot of clothing from both this doll. I dyed these shorts. These are the same shorts. This is dyed with the same color of his hair. But he's wearing a lot of clothing items that came with the original boy Rainbow High doll. Which for some reason I cannot remember his name. But he was blue themed. I turned around to look at him. What is your name, dude? I can't remember. Oh, you know what? Here. Oh yes, his name is River Kendall, which I have one in the box right here. And he's going to become a custom doll in the future. And I actually intend to swap his eyes with one of my other customs because he still has the same color of eyes that he came with, and I want to give them a little more individuality. So that'll be fun. That'll be a project in the near future. I found this randomly at Target one day, and it wasn't on sale, but I was like, I'm going to pick him up at normal price because I'll make a custom. And he's kind of hard to find nowadays. But anyway, so, I have these backwards from the other two. But yeah, he's the original. He's the one I dyed. And his name is Herman Titus. And he's an animation focus. And he is actually themed of hematite. I thought his hair and his whole look was very hematite like. And as you can even see, the dye does work on the flocked hair on the back. So that was a lovely surprise. Alright, so we'll put them over here and bring her back in. So if you have a good name for her, let me know. I would love to hear it. And I will consider everyone's suggestions, and hopefully someone suggests something that I really like, and we'll go from there. Well, anyway, I hope you really liked this video. It's a little long. I tried to edit it down a little bit with the sync part. I sped it up and did a voiceover. So I hope that you'll stick around for more videos and subscribe and hit that bell button and leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you all. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday with a new midweek